Today he is guest number 3,132, and today is show number 1,215, Superintendent of Michigan Center Schools, Brady Cook. Good morning.
Hey. I am pumped to be number 3132, baby.
Is that what it is?
Thanks for having me on, boys.
Thanks for being with us so much in the early times of this show. We appreciate it. It was weird times.
Weird times.
Yeah. Well, we spent a lot of time talking about...
Look at young Brady.
I was going to say, keep that shot up because I look tan, decent haircut.
You know, that shirt would go good with my quarter zip.
Give me 5. I'll run home and grab that and come back.
Yeah, you were with us. We did spend a lot of time talking about education in schools, and thanks to you for being part of the morning show in our early days.
You were trying to take care of an entire community.
Yep, that was one of the interesting factors with the whole COVID experience.
You pretty much look the same.
Notice I don't have the quarter zip on in that. Where is it? I like that shirt. I haven't seen that in a while.
With each picture, I can see like that was 8 pounds ago, that was 11 pounds ago, that was 13
Isn't it
pounds
weird
ago.
that no matter what, old pictures on set look so old? Why is that?
I don't know. Well, they are.
There they are.
That one's
so old.
intense. Look at that. You guys must have had me locked
Well,
in
that
right
was
there.
when you were getting ready to make a decision.
You put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, good walk down memory lane.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't see as much gray goatee hair in those, but it's whatever.
Pandemic induced.
But it really did. It changed education. I mean, there are some things that exist today because of COVID, and some kids never got re-engaged.
It did, and at the time, I wrote an article that was a total fluke. An acquaintance I knew when I went to the Harvard of the Midwest, which is Eastern Michigan University, had worked in California for Go Guardian, and they do articles about education. And he had contacted me knowing I work in schools, and I wrote an article called how COVID-19 created the cheat code for educators. And the cheat code was pretty simple. Educators got the power to make the decisions during that time.
Sure.
And the kind of the bureaucrats and people backed off and let us do our thing. And some really cool things happened despite the challenges of not having face-to-face and things like that. And I really wish we would have been able to maintain a lot more of that momentum. But the reality is things got back to normal pretty quickly and looked kind of like they did prior to COVID.
Yeah.
So
I think of all the effort that your district went into to make sure that kids still were able to have as many experiences as possible. You realize how important those school years were. So I remember you guys constantly trying to come up with things to engage the students.
we did. We wanted to make sure they didn't forget about us and we didn't forget about them. And shout out to the Michigan Center staff and community because we were out there. If they couldn't come to us in the schools, we were going to them in their neighborhoods. For the little ones, we were donating books and toys and things like that. We were feeding people. And it did feel like, we talk about Cardinal family all the time, but during that time, it really did feel like we're all on the same page and we are a family and we're all going to look out for each other.
Yeah, food was a big deal because a lot of families count on school food programs, and that suddenly stopped. But you and pretty much every other district made sure that there were drive-through pickup stations in the neighborhoods and at the schools. But things like the prom, graduation, the sports, all came to a screeching halt.
Yeah, and Andy mentioned the Hanover Horton boys, but our Michigan Center girls, we want to put up a phantom flag because I think they were going to win the girls basketball state championship that year. We had 6 girls on that team who played college basketball. So the first one off the bench, even not in the starting lineup, was a nice player for JC. And then speaking of graduation, we did the MIS thing, which was a pretty unique and cool experience. So.
Yeah, and I think prom as well. I don't think there were any virtual.
I mean,
proms.
if you think about it, you go back, or you even fast forward a year into the pandemic, sports were being played with masks on. We were still a year later in an interesting time, right? So I think it lasted. Some of the early things that we dealt with in the pandemic lasted for a lot longer than we really remember.
Yeah, football, which
football
was
was-
amazing. That first season of football, which we weren't sure we were going to be able to have, was allowed, but without any fans in our stands.
That's right, yeah.
And I remember we were at Grass Lake to broadcast one of the games, and we had to do it from a vehicle up on the hill. And even then, it was
too close.
Yeah, it's like, you got too close.
Well, we didn't know really what it was, so everyone was operating under the best they could. Yeah. So things are going really well out at Michigan Center. I've been out there quite a bit recently. I was just out there for a youth tournament a couple weeks ago. Things are good.
Things are good, man. That gym gets a lot of action, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It seems like every weekend we're hosting something in there. So that's the way it works for schools. A lot of times your athletic facilities are where the majority of visitors to your building come in. So
and you
we
guys
could probably slap a picture of you guys up. We've got the
I'd
mural
like that.
on the wall of all these different.
I would like that. And your concession stands, I mean, even at a youth tournament, walking tacos, caramel popcorn, they turn a soft pretzel into a cinnamon roll. Have you seen this?
No,
you know what I'm talking about.
You can get a cinnamon pretzel there.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, it's like a deep, dark secret. So the people who are in the know, who have worked, and shout out to volunteers because schools don't function without those people. That is a tough and selfless act to work concession stands. But we've got like these secret, it's like Mr. Krabs if you watch SpongeBob with the recipe. Like we've got some stuff that we're not letting out of the bag.
I know that. You have equipment back there that other schools don't have. It's very good.
Little flakes of gold on
it
the
is.
caramel
It's impressive.
corn. Yeah.
Very impressive.
The two gyms are like complete opposite. One is old school dark, the other one is bright, windows, light. So it's a different experience playing both of the gyms.
I think they're both great, and it's awesome that you guys have both those gyms right there across the hall from each other.
It makes for a great tournament setting.
So anything on the ballot this year for Michigan Center schools?
Nothing on the ballot, thankfully. We're done with that for a minute. We are busy installing the things that we passed in 2023 with a bond extension for HVAC and things. So busy trying to get these older buildings up to par. A lot of aesthetic things just to try to make it, a little more eye-catching.
Yeah.
We've featured some kids from Michigan Center in recent weeks on JTV. We had elementary kids from Kiker who were starring in a Disney play this, I think, last weekend.
Yep, Saturday, 2 shows. It was great. Aladdin. They did a great job.
Did you go?
I did the first day that they did it, and it's the Disney musical that it's a partnership between Kiker Elementary and Disney. We've done it now, I want to say 5 years, and it's a lot of kids are kind of getting into the arts and the performing arts because of it, so it's been very cool.
Brady, we want to thank you for joining us, and always thank you for visiting, and again, thanks again for visiting us early on in the pandemic and helping us out. We appreciate it so much. Brady Cook, Michigan Center Superintendent. We've got another clip from 5 years of the morning show.
And I wanted to honor you all personally